Daniel chapter 1. Daniel taken to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and surrounded it with his army. This happened during the 3rd year that Jehoiakim was king of Judah. The Lord allowed Nebuchadnezzar to defeat Jehoiakim, king of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar took all the dishes and other things from God's temple and carried them to Babylon. He put those things in the temple of his gods. Then King Nebuchadnezzar ordered Ashpenaz, the man in charge of his officials, to bring some of the boys into the palace to train them. He was to include boys from among the Israelites, from important Judean families, and from the royal family of Judah. King Nebuchadnezzar wanted only healthy boys who did not have any bruises, scars, or anything wrong with their bodies. He wanted handsome, smart young men who were able to learn things quickly and easily to serve in his palace. He told Ashpenaz to teach these young men the language and writings of the Chaldeans. King Nebuchadnezzar gave the young men a certain amount of food and wine every day. This was the same kind of food that he ate. He wanted them to be trained for 3 years. After that, they would become servants of the king of Babylon. Among those young men were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah from the tribe of Judah. Ashpenaz gave them Babylonian names. Daniel's new name was Belteshazzar, Hananiah's was Shadrach, Mishael's was Meshach, and Azariah's was Abednego. Daniel did not want to eat the king's rich food and wine, because it would make him unclean. So he asked Ashpenaz for permission not to make himself unclean in this way. God caused Ashpenaz, the man in charge of the officials, to be kind and loyal to Daniel. But Ashpenaz told Daniel, "I am afraid of my master, the king. He ordered me to give you this food and drink. If you don't eat this food, you will begin to look weak and sick. You will look worse than other young men your age. The king will see this, and he will become angry with me. He might cut off my head, and it would be your fault." Then Daniel talked to the guard who had been put in charge of Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah by Ashpenaz. He said, "Please give us this test for 10 days. Don't give us anything but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then, after 10 days, compare us with the other young men who eat the king's food. See for yourself who looks healthier, and then decide how you want to treat us, your servants." So the guard agreed to test Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah for 10 days. After 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier than all the young men who ate the king's food. So the guard continued to take away the king's special food and wine, and to give only vegetables to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. God gave these 4 young men the wisdom and ability to learn many different kinds of writing and science. Daniel could also understand all kinds of visions and dreams. At the end of the 3 years of training, Ashpenaz brought all the young men to King Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked to them and found that none of the young men were as good as Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So these 4 young men became the king's servants. Every time the king asked them about something important, they showed great wisdom and understanding. The king found they were 10 times better than all the magicians and wise men in his kingdom. So Daniel served the king until the 1st year that Cyrus was king.